Hello again from beautiful Northeast Ohio. Today we're doing a product review for an accessory for the Rivian R1S. It's no secret that Mrs. E-Hermes is somewhat vertically challenged. Getting into the Rivian for her can be a struggle. Right now it's in max height, but even in kneel mode, it's somewhat of a problem, and the grab handle really isn't in the right place. Even now that I have it in kneel mode, it is somewhat problematic for Mrs. E-Hermes to get up into the vehicle. And once she's in it, even if she waits for it to get into kneel mode after driving it, getting out is also somewhat problematic. She basically has to jump. So when I was contacted by EV Base about their running boards custom made for the Rivian R1S, I was intrigued. The most important thing to me is the fact that there is no drilling into the vehicle required. I was not about to try to drill holes with some template, hoping I got things lined up. The fact that no drilling is required is the real deal for me. Now, let's give full disclosure. While I'm not being paid for this video, they did send me the running boards at no cost. I'm also showing you a discount code for 20% off if you choose to purchase these, and if you do, I also get a 5% commission. All right, let's see what we have here.
Welcome back to E-Hermes, your electric adventure travel channel. Please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content.
Here is how it comes delivered to you. Now let's see what's inside the box. Immediately inside the box. Now let's see what's inside the box inside the box. Oh, of course, we have the two running boards, one for each side, 3 brackets, 3 for the driver's side, 3 more brackets for the passenger side, 6 clamps that clamp the running board onto the brackets, 12 fender washers, 12 lock washers, and 12 nuts. We also have 6 bolts, 6 lock washers, and 6 fender washers for attaching the brackets to 2 of the spots on the vehicle. They say all the tools you need. I have my doubts about that. And a complete installation manual. Well, let's get to the Rivian and get started. The first thing we need to do in the Rivian is put it in all-terrain mode, highest setting. Then we go to settings, vehicle, service, tire change. Turn on anyway. This allows us to have the most clearance working underneath. Then, because I'm a softie, I put this moving pad down for me to lie on. This is with the panel already removed, but this is the 10mm bolt that you need to remove to pull the panel off. It then pulls down and you pull a clip out of this housing, here in the frame of the Rivian. The front panel has 2 Torx screws here and here, and 2 10mm bolts here and here that you remove. Then again, you just pull it down and pull the clips. Here's what the clips look like out of the frame. The center panel does not have any screws or bolts, just these clips. Most of the metal clips stayed in the frame, and I had to get them out with a pair of vice grips and a little bit of a pry bar. You want to get those out because if you ever want to put the panels back on, or you just don't want them under there rusting away, go ahead and take those off, clip them back on the panels. Now that you're at this point, you have 3 options with the panels. Number 1, you can set them aside, and if you ever take the running boards off, reinstall them. Number 2, you can discard them. Number 3, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them aside for now. If I like the running boards and everything goes the way I expect it does, after a few months driving, I'm going to actually cut around them where the brackets are and then reinstall them. We'll see how that goes. They're mostly an aerodynamic issue, which is important, and I suspect the running boards may give us a little bit of range loss, but I don't think it'll be that extensive. Well, we did experience one tragedy. I actually sheared off one of the bolts to hold the plastic panels on. So if we go to reinstall those, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I may have to plug weld it or something else. Other than that, it was pretty straightforward. Remove the panels here. Let's take a look at what it looks like after the panels are removed. And then the passenger side with the panels still in place that I've not yet removed. That'll be next. Oh, those wacky guys at EV Base. When they say passenger side, they actually mean driver's side. And when they say driver's side, they actually mean passenger side. They have the labeling completely wrong, completely opposite of what it should be. You cannot, after much trying, get the bolts to line up if you use the way they're labeled, at least on my set. And I've actually seen another YouTube where this was backwards also, so I don't know if they drive on the other side of the road there or what. But anyhow, yeah, in my case, you have to reverse the labels. So make sure you check that before you get too frustrated and can't get things to fit. Yes, they give you a T55 bit, but the handle on it's pretty small and those things are pretty tight. The breaker bar with the socket works a lot better. Same with the 17mm bolts. Yes, they give you a handle, but between the breaker bar and the impact wrench, made things a lot quicker. So here's how they look when they're in place. This one's crooked. I'm gonna have to loosen the one bolt and slide that back. So they're not really symmetrical. There's two together towards the back and one in the front. It's easier to show you how this works outside before it's put on the vehicle. It's just hard to crawl around and get the camera there. So the clamp, the bracket sits like this, and then these double studded things fit in this track here, and you simply, I say simply, you slide it underneath there, until it's seated, and then you put on the fender washer first, then the lock nut, lock washer, and then the nut itself. Tighten them down. I will say don't use the breaker bar when you tighten them. On the first side I actually tightened one too much and snapped it off, so I only have 5 on that side instead of 6. I may try to get a replacement. But tighten them up snugly, but don't use the breaker bar because that just gives you too much force. So that's how it is, and then they slide in and out on here. You kind of, there is no exact set position where you want them. We slid ours all the way in, and I tried to line up the front and back with the edges of the door panels as best I could. Here is the finished look with the R1S badging, front and back. We lined it up so that basically this comes right under the, if you're looking straight down on it, you can see where it is there. And then this falls pretty even back here. On the other side, see if we got them lined up right. I think it's pretty close. This one could maybe go forward a hair, but it's pretty close. We've put the vehicle back into the highest height again, and now we will compare Mrs. E-Hermes' access to it from before the running boards, now with the running boards. You can see she steps right up onto it and gets right in. Now getting out is also easier, although it's still a pretty good second step coming down. Let's lower the ride height and see how it is in normal. We've lowered it down to the lowest kneel setting, and now let's see her get in like this. Obviously, it would be easier in either case at this height, but she still struggled a little bit getting in, and particularly getting out when it was in this height without the running boards. Now getting out, you can see that she just takes that first quick step and she's right out. Much easier to get in and out for someone that is not very tall. Is that fair to say? Not extremely tall.
Fair to say.
I would say the installation on this was pretty easy for the average person. You have to have some mechanical skill, no doubt. By far the most difficult thing is dealing with the plastic panels on the underside of the Rivian. Getting those off is hard enough. Trying to get them back on around the brackets, well, we're going to tackle that on another day. Otherwise, the only other difficulty was the fact that they labeled the brackets wrong, which wasted a lot of time with me trying to line things up that we're never going to line up. But if you figure that out, the rest of the installation goes pretty easily, and the second side goes much more easily because you've already done one and learned all your mistakes. If you're interested in purchasing these running boards, please use the discount code listed here on the screen and in the comments below to get 20% off your order. And by the way, I also get 5%, so I appreciate that as well. We hope you've enjoyed this video looking at running board accessories from EV Base. If you did, please hit that like button. As always, please subscribe and please hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content. Thank you!